folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank y'all for stopping by to watch. Move the camera a little bit. As you can tell, me, cutting some standing dead and deadfall out in the woods. That camera is crooked. Give me just a second. This is a perfect day for this kind of stuff. It's just like 33, 34 degrees out and nice and calm. We were having some sun, but now it's all clouded over. But still, it's a good day to get out and take care of this. I have neglected this part for a while, for at least a couple of years, of really getting in here and getting it done. And then my goal was this winter to do it. But as many of you know, I was down in my back for 2.5 months in a real bad way. And now I can do mostly what I'm still a little careful, a little cautious, but I can handle it, I think. And I think I've gotten 1, 2, 3. I think I've done 5 trees so far today. A couple of them were already on the ground, and the rest I knocked down, and there's still some more. Well, there's a lot more. But this is a good chore. You know, some people don't like this standing dead or even the stuff on the ground, because depending on how long it's been dead, it does start to deteriorate. But this one, it's all solid. The bark is pretty much off of it. A couple of others that I knocked down are really solid. I mean, there's a couple in here that are just too far gone, but it's firewood. And we'll put it to good use. And what we can't use, which we could use all of it, we'll find someone else within our community to do that. I'm not sure what to say in this video. Excuse me. A little sawdust in my throat. Other than same message I've been saying for a while now, folks. It's getting there. Haven't talked about it, but that Air Force General, 4-star Air Force General, I'm sure you've all heard about it. There's been several videos made about it. Apparently he sent out a memo to his troops to work on getting optimally ready, because he predicts that we will be at war, like a full-scale ground war with China in less than 2 years. I don't know what to think about that. I haven't done a lot of digging. Watched a couple of videos and read it, but I haven't done an extensive amount of digging. I kind of wonder if it's possible that it's disinformation, that it's distraction. Could be true. Some people say that it was never meant to be released, that it was an internal thing. So who knows? Does that mean that we have 2 years? Well, maybe 2 years between us and China, but that doesn't mean that other things aren't going to pop off anytime sooner. Obviously, Russia and then now Iran. It's quite possible that those things could be happening within months. My video this morning, I said World War III in 2023. That's not a prediction necessarily. It's just, I think that the odds of some type of broader global conflict within the coming months is, I think, a very good case for that. And I'm no, military tactician or anything like that. I'm just a hillbilly, all right? But I think it's becoming more and more likely. Of course, a lot of people are probably more concerned in some ways with the whole Iran and Israel thing, especially with Russia openly backing Iran, because a lot of people believe, and I'm not saying they're right or wrong, but a lot of people believe that that's the kind of the Gog and Magog, the invaders from the north that's talked about in the Bible in the end times. And it does look very likely that is a correct interpretation, but I'm no theologian. Again, I'm just an old hillbilly. The world is just passing us by, all busy on all their silly stuff. I don't think I mentioned this in a video in the last couple of days. It's not a big deal, but just an example. Sunday, we had our local meeting. You all know about that. And there's a little Dollar General store down the road. And before, when we get there, I usually stop by there and get ice so that we have, ice for the drinks. And of course, it's 8-10 bags of ice. And I stop in there and I get it. And the lady behind the counter's like, "Oh, you buying stuff for the football party today?" And football party. I thought, well, it is Sunday. I guess there's a football game on. And she's like, "Oh yeah." I said, "No, we're doing something over at the community center." Oh, a football party. Yeah, you guys are. I bet you guys will be watching the football game and all this. And she went on and on about the football. I totally had no clue that Sunday apparently was some kind of big game that determined who was going to the Super Bowl, which I don't follow. I don't follow football. I don't follow Super Bowl. I don't follow any kind of sports. It's not that I think sports are bad. I enjoy playing sports. When I was younger, I loved playing sports. I like going to, like college and high school games, watching that. That's pretty fun. But the big commercialized professional sports, I've never really had any interest in. And I'm not knocking anyone that does. So please don't misinterpret me saying that you're a bad person because you like to watch football or baseball or basketball or whatever. That's not it. The point is that we live in a society that the immediate default is something frivolous, right? It's, silly TV and movies, it's games, it's sports, it's, some pop culture thing, something that's happening in the, online, or some new meme war, or I don't know, just all this ridiculousness. So many people, I don't know how the brain works. I really don't. Like, you can't see that the last 3 years has been a chaotic mess, and that there's a war brewing in Europe and China and the Middle East and North Korea and all this kind of stuff. And I know why. It's because they don't watch the news. They don't watch anything. A lot of people think, "Oh, everybody's watching the liberal news." Have you looked at the ratings of CNN? No one's watching the liberal news either. No one's watching the conservative news. It's kind of like this Project Veritas, their little thing that they recently did with Pfizer. Everyone, and I'm not knocking that either, but everyone is, hoping that this will be the thing that changes it. And if you look at the amount of viewers that's watched it, it's a fraction of Americans. It's a small percentage. It's less than 10%, I believe. Last I looked, I think it was like 8%, maybe 9% of the population have actually viewed that video. And the people, that 8 or 9% is most likely the far right-leaning conservative, right? And so all it did was confirmed their, already, held beliefs, their preconceived notions. It just confirmed that. So it's very unlikely that it won over a whole lot more people. And I'm not being the Debbie Downer on a lot of this. I'm just saying that we live in a world that's, it's bread and circuses, folks. They're marrying and giving away to marriage. They're having a great time. It's, lascivious behavior, fun behavior, everything. I mean, how many of you have noticed in the last several years that adults don't even act like adults anymore? They're like children. I remember, goodness, 20 years ago or so, maybe, something like that. I remember telling people that, if you noticed how people in offices, it's shown on TV and, or wherever they work, their workspace now is decorated with toys. Like, everyone's obsessed with toys. This was, probably 20 years ago. And now look at it. Now they act like children. And now they claim that they're children. And people run around in diapers and stuff. It's because I believe that they've completely lost touch with reality. They've lost touch with the world. They've given away to themselves, lovers of selves, which is all in the Bible. Read 2 Timothy and several other places in the Bible. And that's the world that we live in. And that's why when you're trying to talk to people, or when your family and friends are talking to you and they think that you're crazy, they think that you're a lunatic because this is what you're talking about. Why aren't you worried about the big game on Sunday? Why aren't you worried about what happened the other night on such and such TV show? Oh, that was great, wasn't it? I can't wait till next season. Did you hear the latest news about Kardashian, about Kanye? No, that's all they're caring about. they've completely lost touch with what's really going on because it's too much, because they are living in denial, because of this spreading of a certain level of kind of mental illness and wickedness. Selfishness is wickedness. That's at the very core of what being satanic is my belief. That the lover of self, that's at its very core of what that is. And we're seeing that all over. We're seeing people just indulge themselves, and everything's luxurious, and everything is about themselves. So to me, those are all the biggest signs of the end times that we're living in, and the fact that we are headed for a collapse, because history has shown us over and over again that when societies get to that point, when they get to that point where they are that self-absorbed and that out of touch with what's really going on, because they're just indulging in fun and lascivious behavior and stuff like that. That's almost always 100% of the time shows that the society is collapsing around us. And I think it's just going to be worse than ever before. I think worse than ever before in recorded history, because we live in such a hyper-dependent society. We're not capable of doing anything on our own. Not we, you and I, but we as a people, as a society, especially Western culture. And it's going to crash, and it's going to crash hard, folks. And it doesn't really matter to me whether it's a world war, whether it's an economic collapse, whether it's a grid going down, or the pole shifting, anything like that. We are watching the end come. And you can say all you want about me, about doom and gloom and all that kind of stuff, but you're not going to make me change my mind on that. And I know that probably 95 to 98% of you are thinking the same thing. You're not going to change your minds on that. And that's why we have to keep doing what we're doing. It hurts to a certain extent, because I'm sure every one of you watching has loved ones that are part of that world. They've given over to that kind of lifestyle. Even if they're not totally wicked, maybe they're decent people, maybe they even go to church and stuff, but they're still part of the world. And they're not woken up, and maybe they never will. And that's hurtful. That's hard to deal with. But I mean, look at Noah. Yes, his family was with him, but he had to have loved ones. I mean, that was just his wife and kids. What about all of his other family? I mean, the man was old. He surely had relationships with other people, friendships, bonds and stuff. And he had to watch all of that be destroyed, wiped away. Same thing with Lot in Sodom and Gomorrah. I mean, regardless of what you think about him and everything, he had to have had connections there and relationships, friendships there. Even if it was wicked, it was still an emotional attachment. He had to watch it all burn to the ground, or not watch it, but he knew that it was happening. It's very likely that we're going to face that, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard, but we have to realize that what we're doing is a higher calling, a more righteous reason. It's not just because we're preppers. It's because we're trying to endure to the end. And the Bible says, Yeshua himself says, those that endure to the end will be saved. Will be saved. Is that a spiritual salvation? Is that a physical salvation? Is it both? I'm not the theologian. I'm just a hillbilly. But it says that we'll be saved. We have to endure to the end. And that endurance is going to be tough. And that means we have to kind of fight to get to the end. And the only way to do that is to get ready. You don't go into a fight not being prepared. If you know that you're going to have to fight, whether it's physical or mental or whatever, you get yourself ready for it. You get yourself mentally ready, physically ready. And we know, we're told right there in red letters that we're going to have to fight to get to the end and to be saved, to be saved from all this. So we have to get ready for that fight. We have to get ready, prepped up mentally, physically, and spiritually. That's why I say it every day. It's so important. I can't think of anything more important right now in our times, is to getting you and your family and those close around you really ready, mentally, physically, and spiritually prepared. Because we're watching it. We're watching Rome fall, folks. And don't be tethered to it, because if it does, and when it does, it's going to bring you down with it. Folks, it's time to get your houses in order. Like I say, prepare mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. All right, let's get back to work.